Right, let's get started. So Mary and Elizabeth can go to bed. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so let's just settle into our meditation posture. And check your feet. If they're down on the ground, have them about hips width apart and maybe resting on a little cushion. And sits bones raised. This is mainly important for people in a cross-legged position so your back's not slumping. Hands in the meditation mudra, and for us that is the right hand nestled in the left with the thumbs touching. But if you feel more comfortable with your hands resting on your knees or in any other kind of mudra, you can do that too. Shoulders are aligned with the hips. And imagine your spine is a string of pearls of light stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. Just imagine your spine is lengthening. You're just putting some space in between those vertebrae. Just allowing all the muscles, tiny, tiny muscles along your back to lengthen. And the head is very slightly tipped forward. Eyes are down, looking along the length of the nose. Tip of the tongue is on the roof of the mouth. Just relax the jaw. And then scan the body from the crown of the head. So relaxing the scalp and the forehead and the eyes, the nose, the cheeks, the mouth, back of the head. Particularly around the occipital bone, the base of the skull. Relax the ears and the inner ear, the temples, the back of the tongue and the jaw. Release any tension in the back of the neck. Try and lengthen your neck as well. Relax and allow the shoulders to drop down. Drop your shoulder blades down. Relax the throat and the chest and the belly, limbs, hands, fingers, and feet and toes. And just bring the mind to the breath, noticing the sensations of the air as you're inhaling and exhaling. The air is flowing in and out of the nostrils. And just focus there for a moment. And just bring to mind, this is a purification practice, so just bring to mind there is nothing you've done that can't be purified. There's nothing so awful that you've said or done to yourself or others that's so bad that it can't be dealt with. So we're dealing with our mind here. So this purification process is basically, it's a psychological one. So we create negativity with our mind, so we can equally create positivity with our mind. We can change that energy. So we start with the power of regret. And so regret in itself is purification because it implies that you want to do something about it. It's not like, gosh, I'm so bad. It's not like guilt. I'm so bad. I've done this thing. I'm such a horrible person. It's not that. It's just kind of owning up to stuff and thinking, oh, I want to change this. And that's a much more, responsible attitude to take. Kind of grown up. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in past lives. And you can think of specific actions of body and speech. Maybe you've done stuff, hurting people, animals. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma, because any suffering we've caused to others is going to necessarily ripen as suffering for us in the future. And given that we understand all about suffering, we probably don't want to invite any more into our life, logically it would make sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this: I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and speech, having broken my vows because I do not want this future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And so we regret our delusions, so our anger and attachment and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. And think again, I am sick of suffering. What can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? Who's going to help me? So here we come to the power of reliance, and it's a little bit about refuge. So we're relying on this particular Buddha, Vajrasattva, who we can see as a doctor, who has methods that we can use to heal ourselves, to purify. So we're not looking at to Vajrasattva as some kind of like higher power that's going to take our pain away. We're doing the work ourselves. So we're not wanting forgiveness from Buddha. We're relying upon his methods. So you can imagine this white Buddha, Vajrasattva, above the crown of your head. You can also imagine, if you have a teacher, that this is a sort of a spiritual mentor, that this is your teacher in this Buddha Vajrasattva form, manifesting in this aspect for your benefit. And he's made of radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. And this lotus, although born out of mud, is untainted by that mud. And this is just like our enlightened potential, which is born out of our delusions, but yet untainted by them. And he has this beautiful, radiant face. His eyes are long. They're horizontally long, like lotus petals, and peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. He has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents the union of these two, and this symbolizes enlightenment. Enlightenment is the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. So we do a little prayer here to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened by this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva. May I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So we have a little section here where we're thinking about developing compassion. So we can start with the people that we maybe have caused harm to. Bring them to mind and develop a sense of compassion for them, like a wish for them to be free from suffering. And then think about the people who have harmed us, harmed you. And although a little bit more difficult to generate some kind of sense of compassion for them, think about the suffering that they've caused you and how it is going to manifest for them in the future as suffering. And given that we never know when our karma is going to ripen, it can be obviously very inopportune moment, time. So we have compassion for them for that as well. So think that we are going to make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these sentient beings, and think I must purify for their sake. So next we come to the power of the remedy, and this is the actual medicine doing the practice of purification. So this is where we visualize and recite mantra. So we start with the purification of the body. And Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, almost like you can imagine coming out of a powerful hose, fire hose perhaps, or waterfall from his heart. So it's quite forceful, and it arcs around and it enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And this nectar keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices, all the harm you have ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dira Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawa Siddhi Mepiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sutam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebowa, Sutokaya Mebowa, Supokaya Mebowa, Anarakta Mebowa, Sawa Siddhi Mepiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me, Sutam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe, Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Dina Patita, Dida Mebowa, Sutokaya Mebowa, Supokaya Mebowa, Anarakta Mebowa, Sawa Siddhi Mepiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me, Sutam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe, Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Dina Patita, Dida Mebowa, Sutokaya Mebowa, Supokaya Mebowa, Anarakta Mebowa, Sawa Siddhi Mepiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me, Sutam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe, Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Dina Patita, Dida Mebowa, Sutokaya Mebowa, Supokaya Mebowa, Anarakta Mebowa, Sawa Siddhi Mepiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me, Sutam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe, Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Dina Patita, Dida Mebowa, Sutokaya Mebowa, Supokaya Mebowa, Anarakta Mebowa, Sawa Siddhi Mepiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me, Sutam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagavan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe, Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Dina Patita, Dida Mebowa, Sutokaya Mebowa, Supokaya Mebowa, Anarakta Mebowa, Sawa Siddhi Mepiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me, Sutam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagavan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you have ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think there is no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. And next is the purification of speech. And Vajrasattva very happily now sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech. And this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. And so it's quite forcefully overflowing. So, it's been said like the force of a wind blowing the hat off the top of your head. So you can imagine that if you've had a habit to gossip or engage in harsh speech, like swearing at people, shouting at people, and kind of useless speech, maybe lying because it's misleading and confusing, talking badly about others behind their backs, all of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you and overflowing as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Dina Patita, Dida Mebowa, Sutokaya Mebowa, Supokaya Mebowa, Anarakta Mebowa, Sawa Siddhi Mepiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me, Sutam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagavan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe, Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Dina Patita, Dida Mebowa, Sutokaya Mebowa, Supokaya Mebowa, Anarakta me bhava savasiti me piyatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabhava mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita tira me bhava sutokaya me bhava supokaya me bhava Anarakta me bhava savasiti me piyatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabhava mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita tira me bhava sutokaya me bhava supokaya me bhava Anarakta me bhava savasiti me piyatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabhava mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita tira me bhava sutokaya me bhava supokaya me bhava Anarakta me bhava savasiti me piyatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabhava mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita tira me bhava sutokaya me bhava supokaya me bhava Anarakta me bhava savasiti me piyatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabhava mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita tira me bhava sutokaya me bhava supokaya me bhava Anarakta me bhava savasiti me piyatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabhava mahasamaya sattva aham pe. So again, excuse me, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible you could do anything other than benefit others now with your speech. So just think, when someone's talking to you and they're upset, you know when to keep silent, you know when to speak, and you have the wisdom for whatever you say that falls out of your mouth is the perfect thing for their mind. So next is the purification of the mind. And Vajrasattva now very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So you're full of this light. So it's just the same, this analogy is so sweet. It's when you walk into a room and it's dark and you switch on a light, that light instantly dispels the darkness in the room and you can see. So it's the same here. The moment the light from Vajrasattva's heart touches your heart, it dispels all the darkness of the negativity of your mind. Depression, attachment, neediness, grasping, bitterness, grudges, jealousy, depression, resentment, all of this instantly dispelled, not one atom left as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita tira me bhava sutokaya me bhava supokaya me bhava Anurakta me bhava savasiti me piyatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabhava mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita tira me bhava sutokaya me bhava supokaya me bhava Anurakta me bhava savasiti me piyatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabhava mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita tira me bhava sutokaya me bhava supokaya me bhava Anurakta me bhava savasiti me piyatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabhava mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita tira me bhava sutokaya me bhava supokaya me bhava Anarakta me bhava sawa siddhi mimpi yata sawa kama sutta me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabhava mahasamaya sata aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Didu me bhava sutokaya me bhava supokaya me bhava Anarakta me bhava sawa siddhi mimpi yata sawa kama sutta me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Mebala Sutokaya Mebala Supokaya Mebala Anarakta Mebala Sawa Siddhi Mibiyata Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Mebala Sutokaya Mebala Supokaya Mebala Anurakta me bhava sawa siddhi me biyata sawa kama sutta me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabhava mahasamaya satra aham pe. So again, be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and speech, are totally purified. And think now, there is no space in your heart for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. So next is the purification of the imprints, even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. So you can imagine Vajrasattva sending light and nectar, pours into you, and it fills you completely. And if you wish, you can recite a couple of mantras for each of those visualizations of the body, speech, and mind. Or you can just imagine light and nectar pouring in, filling you completely, and eradicating even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your mind as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Mebala Sutokaya Mebala Supokaya Mebala Anarakta Mebala Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Mebala, Sutokaya Mebala, Supokaya Mebala, Anarakta Mebala, Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sutta Me, Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe, Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Dinapatita, Dida Mebala, Sutokaya Mebala, Supokaya Mebala, Anarakta Mebala Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Mebala Sutokaya Mebala Supokaya Mebala Anarakta Mebala Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Mebala Sutokaya Mebala Supokaya Mebala Anarakta Mebala Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Mebala Sutokaya Mebala Supokaya Mebala Anarakta Mebala Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Mebala Sutokaya Mebala Supokaya Mebala Anarakta Mebala Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe. So now feel you're completely purified, not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. So just imagine even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. And so now we come to the power of resolve. And this is the fourth step in the purification process, and a really crucial one. So here, this is where we make a determination to try and refrain from harming with our body and our speech and our mind. So without this determination, without making a decision that we're not going to harm, we're just going to keep doing the same old things over and over again. So this determination becomes like an aspiration, a wish. So think of something that you know is kind of a habit that might be harmful for yourself or for others. It can be something as simple as eating too much chocolate when you have high blood sugar, or gossiping about people, just being careless with your speech, maybe. Just whatever it is that might be harmful. So don't make it like a New Year's Eve promise. I'm never going to do this. Well, I'm not going to do this forever again, because we're habits and because we're human and because we just forget. Things fall out of our mouth. We forget and put that chocolate in the mouth. So I think that give yourself a timeline, like make it really simple. 30 seconds, I'm going to refrain from talking badly about my boyfriend or husband or partner to my friend. So if it's become a habit to complain about someone or something, just say, for example, okay, I'm just not going to I won't do this for 5 minutes. If you engage in negative self-talk, try and catch it and stop it for 30 seconds. And gradually over time, you'll be able to expand this timeline, and the habits that you have will atrophy. So take courage from that. This determination to not do again is what gives us the strength to change. So Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wanting to merge with your mind, he melts into white light and absorbs into you. And you can think, my teacher, my mentor's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, my own body, speech, and mind are the same thing. And Rinpoche here recommends we meditate on the emptiness of the 3 circles. So whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there. So in emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma. And there is no negative karma created. So we can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. We can also think that perhaps the way things appear to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. We don't understand everything, and sometimes we get things wrong. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy we've created during this purification to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I have created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. And for His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single happiness and benefit in this world, to the incomparably kind Tenzin Gyatso I beseech, may all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. And for Lama Zopa Rinpoche, O Tup Shul Chan Shin Jam Gon Galloway, Tenzin Kyong Pelaway Kunzo Dog Porze, Yog Sum Kurwe Leg Mondu Drub, Dog Sog Duje Gondu Jab Ten Shok. Lama Ursel, Venerable One, to whose kindness exceeds that of all the conquerors, for those wanderers in far-off places, especially the West, mindful of your loving concern for us and intentionally descending again into a family of a far distant land, We make this request, O Lama, please, please live long. And for Geshe-Shera, beloved teacher, leading your students toward wisdom and compassion, explaining through exacting discernment the steps of the graduated path. You are the unequal guide. Please live a long and stable life. Okay. Good night, everybody. Lots of love. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed that, Kodo, and I will see some of you tomorrow morning.
Wonderful.